confetti. Random Reads. Hello, it's me, Hope, from Random Reads, and today is a special day because I'm going to be doing my first installment in... There's confetti all over the ground. In the new web series I'm going to be calling Random Reviews, which is basically like any book review, except I'm going to be calling it Random Reviews since my channel is called Random Reads, and there's also going to be things like random rants, and I'm just so excited to start them. But today I'm going to be reviewing a special book, and that is... I just hit myself in the head. And that is Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. And I believe this is like the 11th book in the Shadowhunter Chronicles, and the second book in the Dark Artifices. So if you haven't heard of this book, where have you been? Have you been under a rock? So if you haven't read any Shadowhunter books, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Go read them. I recommend reading them in the order in which they were like published. And if you haven't read Shadowhunter Academy, you should probably read that before going into the Dark Artifices, because there's a lot of references or things you would just understand more if you read the Shadowhunter Academy thing. So I'm gonna put this down. This book was amazing. Before we go into spoilers, I would give it 5 stars. I think it was better than Lady Midnight. I actually think this was one of her best written books. Like, I'm not gonna say it was Cassandra Clare's best book, but I think it was one of the best written books. I think because she's so used to writing this world now. So I loved it. I loved it so much, and there's nothing really I can say that is non-spoily. So if you haven't read the book yet, go do that. It's really easy to get into. I read it all in one sitting and I didn't sleep, but it was worth it. If you haven't read it, bye-bye non-spoily people. Here's some more confetti. Go read the book. Bye non-spoily people. This is the last warning. Okay. You should go now. If you're still here, you're gonna be really spoiled about the next thing I'm about to say. Okay. Well, bye. Go away. Okay, so before I actually get into the book, I'm going to have a teeny rant about Livy's death. So basically, since it's been a year since I've read Lady Midnight, I really didn't remember that many things. So I kind of had to like flip through Lady Midnight and remind myself about what happened. And I was a little confused about the Blackthorn like family tree, because I kind of forgot about like who is who and like who is Drew and who is Livy, and there was just so many Blackthorns. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go on the internet, search up Blackthorn family tree. Okay, bad idea, because when I did that, I at first it was fine, and I was like, okay, so there's Mark and there's Helen and there's Faye, okay, and there's Jules and blah 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 blah, and it showed under their names, it showed like when they're born and when they died. So I was looking at Julian, and it was like Julian Blackthorn. It was like 1995 dash, and there was like no date because obviously he's not dead yet. And I'm going through all the names, and I stop at Livy, and I'm like, and I look back and I'm like, wait a minute. Why does she have a death date? And it says 1999 to 2000. And I'm like, I'm sorry, 1999 to 2012. And I know that Lord of Shadows takes place in 2012. So I was like, did I just spoil myself? Like, is she gonna die now? So I was like, you know what? It's Wikipedia. Sometimes Wikipedia lies, so whatever. So I go into the book and I'm freaking out. And every time something happens, like when they went to the London Institute, like when anything happened, I was just like, is this where Livy dies? Is this where Livy dies? I'm like, is Livy gonna die now? And I was so scared for Livy to die at the London Institute because I didn't want Julian to be like hard on Mark and say, I left you in charge of the kids, now Livy is dead or something. And I was just freaking out the whole time. And that's like the only thing that consumed my mind. And finally we got to the end of the book. There's only a few pages left, and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's Wikipedia. Maybe they're wrong, or maybe she's gonna die in the next book, Queen of Air and Darkness, since that probably takes place in the same year, and I've been bugging myself out like the whole book for nothing. So we get to the end of the book, and for the first time I'm not thinking about the fact that Livy's gonna die, and I'm just reading la 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 la, and then she dies, and then she dies, and I'm just in there, and it's like 6 a.m. because I read through like the whole night. So I was like, you know what? Maybe there's something wrong with my eyes. I'm not reading this correctly. I look back and I'm like, what? What? Okay. Okay. Let's actually get on to what happens in the book. So as we start off, we have Jace and Clary are at the Institute, and I'm so excited. I'm like, I miss Jace and Clary and la la la. And the first thing I think, like, not about the fact that, I mean, it's sweet that Jace is meeting Kit, and, you know, there's another Herondale, that's great. But I'm just like, are they married yet? Like, why have we not heard anything about Clary and Jace getting married? Like, what is going on here? Like, why are they not married? Like, Alec and Magnus have 2 children, Izzy and Simon. Even though Simon lost his memory, they got all their stuff together, and Jace and Clary are not married yet. And I'm just like, why? I'm pretty sure even in the book I just wrote like, are they married yet? Like, what is happening? So then we find out about Clary's dreams, and I'm so scared. I don't want Clary to die. I don't know what's gonna happen in the next books. I know that next year we're not gonna get Queen of Air and Darkness. We're gonna actually get the first book in the Last Hours trilogy thing. So I don't know what's gonna happen to Clary. And like, is it called The Wicked Powers? I think the last installment is gonna be The Wicked Powers. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I was so scared. But I love her conversation with. I'm like cradling the book right now. I'm just like, okay. But I love her conversations with Emma, and I love how she's kind of like a motherly figure to Emma, and they're so close, and they were talking about how even though they knew it was right to kill Malcolm and kill Sebastian, that it still kind of affects them, and Clary still kind of feels guilty all the time, and she has these dreams, and there's a lot of things that happen in the book, so I'm trying to remember what I'm going. Okay, so we go in, and after it's just like a little interaction with Kit and Jace, we go in and we're at the Santa Monica pier, and they're doing their little mission thing, and Mark gets a goldfish, and he's like, and he goes up to Emma, he's like, I won a fish for you, my fair one. And they're just like, I love Mark so much. And when we ended Lady Midnight, and she kind of like asked Mark to be her fake boyfriend or whatever for Julian, and he said, why lie? I was so scared. I thought they would actually like end up like falling in love or something, or I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. I thought it was gonna be like Simon and Clary all over again. I was so uncomfortable in City of Ashes because I was like, this is wrong. She's supposed to be with Jace. This is just wrong. But actually, it was like totally different from that. Their relationship is like, I remember her even saying that she loves Mark the way she's supposed to love Julian. So I was so relieved for that. But I actually love the relationship. I love it so like siblingly, and they kind of lean on each other, and he kind of just like sits, he kind of like sleeps. I'm like pointing to the ground. Mark sleeps in my room. Okay, no, but he kind of just like sleeps in her room, like on the ground, just like in a little burrito of blankets. I'm very emotional right now. Side note, me and reviews are not that good because I get really emotional and I start like speaking incoherently, so bear with me because I've had to delete a lot of book reviews because I look back at it and I'm just like, what am I saying? I'm just like dying on the ground crying. Okay. Oh. Okay. So yeah, I just love the relationship between Mark and Emma. It's just so sweet. and they're so cute, and I just it's so sweet. It's so sweet. And I feel so bad because Mark really is really into Christina, and Christina and Diego. Oh my god. When Christina got back with Diego, I'm pretty sure I like got my pen and wrote in the book, I don't trust Diego. And I don't like him. I don't trust him. I don't like Mr. Perfect. Wait, is that his name? No, it's Perfect Diego, and then his other nickname is Mr. Hot and Sexy, according to Mark, which is another reason why I really like him. But I don't trust him. I did not trust him. And then all of a sudden, 2 pages later, after me like actually writing in my book, like, don't trust Diego, why are you back with him, Christina? Zara shows up and he's like, I'm his fiance. I'm like, who is this Zara person? And at first I felt bad for Zara because I was like, you know what, maybe it's like, maybe Zara feels betrayed because Diego, she comes and she's like so excited to see her fiance, and it turns out Diego's been dating somebody while she's gone. No, but no, it was not. And Zara is Zara. I'm not even gonna, you know what, there's only one thing I can say about Zara. Okay. That is all I'm saying. It's in my notes. I'm not even gonna say anything about her, and her talking about like them doing her laundry when they're asking if they can help. I just no. And the whole cohort and these what are they called? They go to Sholomance. Forgot what they're called. Like her whole group of people, which we've been like introduced to out of nowhere. Like we never heard about this group of people before. I was like, who are these people? Like, they're like soldiers. They're like the FBI of Shadowhunters, and they get to do these secret missions. And I was very suspicious about them. I need to stop touching my hair. Okay. I was very suspicious about them. Like, So after I basically read any book, I go to Christine Ricciot's and I look at her book talks. And she, after reading Lady Midnight, I looked at her review, and she mentioned something about, like, the fact that Julian, he's, like, kind of dark. He has this dark side, and he's evil, and he'll basically do anything, like, anything, even if it's, like, a really bad thing to save his family. And I was kind of, like, in the middle about that comment, because I was like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I don't really think Jules has a bad side. I think he's Jules. He's like very sweet. After reading Lord of Darkness, Lord of Shadow. Okay. After reading Lord of Shadows, I was like, I agree 100%. Julian has like this really scary dark side, and he'll basically do anything. Like, he'll do anything to save his family and to save Emma. He'll do anything, even if it's crazy and it's really scary. Like, I think at one point I had this thought where I kind of compared him to Malcolm. I know, like, just hear me out on this. Like, Malcolm, he did this because of love. He killed all these people, I know. And he did this craziness, and he went to the Unseelie King, did all these crazy stuff, but it was because he was in love with Annabelle. And I know they're judging him, and they're like, he's a murderer, and he was supposed to be a friend, and blah, blah. But at some point, I was like, you know what, if Emma was in Annabelle's place, I'm pretty sure Julian would do the exact same thing, because Julian scares me sometimes. And when the Seelie Queen came to Julian and was like, I know a way to break this Parabatai curse, her solution involved like ruining all Parabatai in the world, basically. And you know what? I feel that he has it in him to do that, just to be with Emma, because he's so in love with her. And like, Emma's really in love with Julian too, but she would never do that. Like, the second she heard about that, she was like, no, Jules, we can't do that. That's crazy. Like, how about people like Jace and Alec and like Clary and Simon? Like, that's crazy. Like, that would ruin all Parabatai around the world. We need to find another solution. We can use it as leverage. afraid of him. I'm genuinely, what is this? I'm genuinely afraid of Julian sometimes. So we're gonna go on to Gwen and Diana. That relationship is so cute. And I was pleasantly surprised about Gwen's character, because when we read Lady Midnight, I kind of envisioned Gwen as like this evil person, you know, he's in charge of the hunt and he's evil or whatever. He's very tough, but honestly, he is so sweet and he is so kind, and he really, I don't know, I really like him. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I really like him, and his relationship with Diana is so cute, and you know, he just comes to her window like in the middle of Alicante. Is that how you say Alicante? I don't even know how to say the name of the city. But he comes to her window and he's just like, you wanna go on a magical ride on my horse? And she's just like in her silk pajamas, like, why not? And it's so cute. And when we heard about Diana's story, I was so heartbroken. And I was also so surprised, because this whole time I was just like, Diana, she's evil. She's probably like the actual villain and the dark artifices, and I can't trust her, and she's constantly disappearing, and why can't she be in charge of the Los Angeles Institute? But this whole time it's just because she's transgender, and I felt so bad, because this whole time I've been so skeptical. Oof. Okay. This whole time I've been so skeptical of her, and really she probably feels awful that she can't tell anybody. This is probably like the first time in a long time she's actually told anybody. And you know, Gwen was there and he took it in, and he's just so sweet. And Diana, I'm so sorry that I was so suspicious of her. Yeah. The relationship between Mark, Christina, and Kieran is hilarious. I love it. It's like the weirdest love triangle I've ever seen. And the way it was written is so hilarious. And Kieran's character, I love Kieran. And let's just push Mark and Christina away for a second. Let's talk about Kieran. So, everyone's angry at him because he did this thing where Emma and Julian got whipped, and Mark can't forgive him that easily, and everyone's angry, and they have reason, obviously. But I'm like, I see it like kind of a different way, because he did this because he loves Mark a lot, and he just wanted Mark back, and he never knew that this was gonna happen. And because he felt so bad about it, because Emma and Julian were hurt in the process, he went and he basically helped them save Tavi. I'm pretty sure Tavi would have died if he didn't come in to the picture, and he's helping them now still, even when he finds out that what happened, and that they're basically using him when his memory comes back. He's still willing to help them. Like, his love for Mark is so crazy, and I feel so awful for him because of Mark and Christina, and like, they're cute together. I ship them 100%. But at the same time, I feel so bad for Kieran. But the way he handles it is so hilarious, because their little love triangle thing, it's very funny. It's very funny. Even Emma commented on that. I don't know what she said. She said something really funny. But I feel like I'm going to go back to the Julian being secretly kind of evil thing. I feel like if Julian were Kieran and Emma were Mark, Julian would have done the same thing. Even if two other people got whipped in the process, basically passed out and stuff, Julian would have done the same thing, because all the bad things that are happening in this book are out of love. And I think that's just so interesting. I actually just realized that right now. This is like not scripted or planned, but everything that is happening is out of love, and all the bad conflict things are just out of love. Like the thing between Kieran and Mark is out of love, and Malcolm and Annabelle, that's love. I'm gonna go back to that. I need to say something funny about that. Hi guys, it's me from the future, and basically little stupid me forgot what I was gonna say. So basically what I wanted to say about Malcolm and Annabelle is that it's kind of ironic and funny that Malcolm went through all of this trouble and spent at least 100 years trying to get his Annabelle back and the love of his life, and he killed all these people. We lost our poor Arthur. He was so sweet, and I felt so awful for him being up in that attic for 5 years or so. He was very smart, and the things he said were like so inspiring, like the thing about there being truth in fiction. But yeah, we lost, a lot of people were killed basically, and finally when he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish, she just came up, she stared at him, and she basically just stabbed him to death. And okay, that's sad, but it's also really funny and ironic because he spent all that time going through all of that stuff, making deals with the Unseelie King, which is like really dangerous, just to be killed by Annabelle because he unknowingly kept her conscious in the grave for a while. By a while, I mean like 100 years. And she just wanted her peace. And I remember Kieran saying like, oh, she's just ungrateful. But honestly, she just wanted her peace, and now she probably really hates Malcolm. And I just thought that was very ironic and funny because my sense of humor is very morbid. So you can go back to my terrible video now. Thank you. And then the whole parabatai curse, is because of love. And I just think everyone kind of needs to like widen their perspective, because Julian and Emma are judging Malcolm, and then they're judging Kieran, and Kieran is probably judging this person, blah, 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 but then they're just all doing all this crazy stuff because they're in love with each other, and it's just like, come on, people. I know you're in love with each other, but it's getting a little out of hand, and you're hurting other people in the process. My point is that I feel bad for Kieran. He's one of my favorite characters. Besides Ty. I love Ty. Ty plus Kit. It's my OTP. Going back to that in a little bit. But yeah, and when Mark and Christina dance with each other and they kiss and whatever, and when Kieran walks in, I knew he wasn't going to be angry because he's not that kind of person, I could tell from his character, but I was not expecting him to like walk in the way he did. Oh, Mark, don't you know, I taught you to dance better than that. And then he takes Christina and she describes it as dancing with fire. I'm so curious if we're gonna learn like how her family came to have all this like great connection between between the fairies, because like I think it's really interesting that they have all these trinkets and that like it's not really been talked about yet, and like how they got it or how they have like this weird connection between Christina's family and the fairies. So, let's get on to my OTP. Kitty is the best ship name ever. Kit and Ty are so cute together, and it's so funny because their first interaction was Kit being locked in a basement and Ty coming out and like a knife to his neck. And I just think it's so weird that like that's how it started. But now their interactions are so adorable, and I love when they were talking about what their favorite words are, and how Ty figured out how Malcolm and Annabelle used to communicate, and how he sent the note to Annabelle, and it's basically all him. He's the reason why Annabelle came. He's so smart. I love Ty. But their interactions are just so cute, and I know it's like not gotten like any romanticness yet. But I love it so much, and I love every time they're just together. I can't. They're so cute together. And then when Ty is kind of having this breakdown, and Kit kind of has to come in and hug him, and he's like, I'm not really a huggy person. I don't know how to do this, really. But I'll do it for Ty. For Ty. And I'm just dying, like, why? So the fact, in the beginning, I remember thinking about the fact that Ty sleeps out of Kit's door. Next to Kit's door. I was like, why is nobody questioning that? Like, a lot of people mentioned it, like, oh yeah, there's Ty, like, just sleeping next to Kit's door, no big deal. And I'm just like, well, are we not going to talk about this? Are we not going to ship them? Wow, I'm emotional today. I'm very emotional. This is what it's gonna be like the whole time. It's gonna be me like the bloopers are probably like the bloopers is the blooper probably longer than the actual video. Just saying. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like me filming for 50 minutes. Then when I go in to edit it and take out all the bloopers, the actual legit video is probably gonna be like 20 minutes. Because that's how many times I have to go off and just like start crying or something, or just go blah blah blah. Anyways, that's not the point. We're talking about Lord of Shadows here. We're talking about the book. About the wonderful Cassandra Clare. And what is this cover, by the way? I'm used to like bodies covering the whole. Oh, look, it's Jason Clare. They're married. But I'm used to this, and I get this with a tiny Julian in the corner with a little sword. Speaking of swords, I remember reading Lady Midnight and just thinking like, okay, this Cortana, like, I know it's this big legendary thing, and Arthur also like mentions it a few times every time. When Emma came to the attic, he was like, Cortana, like crafted by blah blah blah, and I'm just like, okay, I know Cortana is like this almighty powerful thing, but Cortana is like crazy powerful, and Emma broke the mortal sword. Sword. I say sword. I'm sorry if that bothers you. It bothers me. But she broke it. And I'm like, it's one of the 3 mortal instruments. Like, what? Like, there was like 5 mortal instrument books all about like these 3 items, and one of those 3 items was destroyed. Like, she was just like, oh, the mortal sword broke. And I'm just like, wait, it's 5 a.m. I've been reading for like 7 hours straight. Let me just go back to that line. And I was like, how does it just break? And did like, is Cortana like the new mortal sword? Like, did it just like absorb all its powers? Like, now if you just hang it in front of somebody, will they start like speaking the truth? Like, I'm so curious to what is gonna happen in Queen of Air and Darkness, because basically throughout the whole Lord of Shadows, I know there was a lot of things happening, but nothing really terrible or bad happened. But then all of a sudden at the end, like 200 pages worth of like conflict just happened within like 2 pages, and they're just crazy things. So I don't know what the aftermath is going to be in Queen of Air and Darkness, because the Inquisitor died and Cassandra Clare actually confirmed that the new Inquisitor is going to be a terrible person, which I'm not. I hope it's not a person in the cohort. I hope it's not any Dearborns, because I hate that family line. But I don't know what's gonna happen. And then Robert Lightwood died, and I've never liked him, but now he has this actual relationship with Alec, and Alec is just sitting there like so heartbroken, and Magnus is over there just like passed out. What is up with that? Why are all these warlocks passed out and just being tired all of a sudden, and even Tessa? And I want to know what's happening, because there's a lot of things happening. I'm gonna start crying again because I'm very overwhelmed right now. Okay, so something I haven't really mentioned at all for some reason. So, they go to save Kieran, and they take the moon's path. And the whole time they take the moon's path, I'm like, what is this? Or the moon's road, or the moon something. So they take that route, and I'm just like, she's like, you can take it when the moon becomes solid. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but let's go to Fairy. And they talk about how the stars are like different shapes and different colors, and it just sounds so magical. So where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so they meet this fairy, and it's called a Fuka. And I'm like, what is a Fuka? Like, what is this word? And then basically, like, they have to give up something in order to go on, and then the Fuka tells them, like, in Fairy, you will find this thing that you have been looking for, la 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 la. And for some reason, I was so angry that Julian had to give up his father's watch, and I was even more angry that Emma had to give up, like, her favorite stele that Jace gave her. Like, I was like, no, that's Jace's stele. Anyways, that's not the point. And he basically tells her, like, you will see somebody that you've loved and lost. And the first thought that goes into my head is, this is going to be some kind of fairy. It's going to be an illusion. somebody that's posing as probably one of her parents, maybe both, I don't know. And it's probably going to be like totally in a wrong moment. It's probably going to freak her out. And I was totally right, because it was Emma's dad. And I was like, honey, this is not your dad. Your dad is dead. Sorry. And that sounded so mean. But I was so not surprised when they were just like, before you kill this person, take off his mask. And I was like, if this is some kind of fairy illusion person, because especially after there was that whole fairy who Julian made out with, and he thought it was Emma, but it actually wasn't. I was like, if it's one of those type of fairies, I'm gonna freak out. And she takes off the mask, and it's her dad. And the funny thing is, this is not funny actually, but the funny thing is that the second she took off that mask, I was like, kill him now. I was like, kill him now before he starts saying things. And you're all just like, Daddy. No, it's not your dad. Like, kill him now. And she doesn't. She's just like, no, I'm done. I won't kill him. And I'm like, Emma, dearest, Emma, it's not your father. Kill him. And I was like so angry. I don't know why I was so angry. You know what? It was probably like 3 a.m. I was reading. Anyways. Oh yeah, this is the point I wanted to make. The point I wanted to make was that, I don't know what this face is. Christina and Mark wake up, and they basically like hear this music. And I'm like, you're in a fairy, you wake up, you hear mystical music that's making you like want to go in a certain direction. Like, don't do that. And I was also scared that her necklace, because her necklace like kind of protects them all if they all stay near her. I was so afraid that if she went too far, like Julian and Emma, who were like sleeping over there, I'm pretending like they're actually over there, they're not, but who were sleeping over there, were just like, it wasn't gonna work on them anymore. Like, what is the radius in which this necklace like can spread its powers? So I was really afraid of that. And then when Mark started saying it was a revel, I was like, stay away from fairy revels. I was so surprised that they actually went to it, because maybe if it was like Emma and Julian or something, maybe they would have done it. They're stupid. They're cute. I love them. They belong together, but they're stupid. So they probably would have done it. But the fact that Christina has basically like dedicated her whole life to learning about fairies, and that Mark lived there and he knows how deceitful things are and whatever. I mean, I know he did mention like, hey, we shouldn't go to a revel, but he did it anyways. I was so surprised. I was like, Christina, you know that you shouldn't go to fairy revels. Like, even I know that. I even remember reading the Shadowhunters Codex, and it came to like the part about fae, and it was like, never attend a fairy revel and never drink their drinks. And I was like, Christina, it's in the Shadowhunter Codex. But then, like, I was actually really surprised when something like, nothing terrible happened. I mean, I know they were like bound, and they're just like, bound you with a ribbon, and now you can't go far away from each other, else you'll probably die or something. But I was expecting something worse to happen, but it actually didn't, so I was like, okay. And when they kissed, and which I've been waiting to happen, obviously. I mean, I love Kieran, but I still ship them I still ship them anyways. And then Christina ruins it, and she's basically like, well, this is what happens when you drink fairy stuff. And he's like, honey, there was nothing in that drink. So basically what you're saying is that you only kissed me because you thought you were drunk or something? But then finally Christina tells Mark about the reason why Emma asked him to fake date him. And like this whole time I totally forgot about the fact that she said it was because of Cameron Ashdown. And I was like, I don't know how I really believe that, because like, does she really seem like she's into Cameron? Like, it's obvious that her and Julian are in love. It's obvious that they're in love, but I guess it wasn't that obvious. I mean, obvious because I already know, so maybe that's why it's obvious to me. But I thought it was obvious. Apparently it was not. And I was so glad that kind of slipped out of her mouth, because I really wanted Mark to know, and he was kind of like, you know what, let's end this. And I was like, yes, let's end this. But like the funny thing is that the only reason why Emma agreed to ending it, besides the fact that him and Christina have their thing, obviously they had her blessing. But like I feel like the main reason, no, I know that the main reason why she actually agreed, like, you know what, yeah, let's end this, is because she saw Julian kissing that fairy, and though to him it looked like it was Emma, it obviously wasn't, and it didn't look like Emma to the rest of them. So she basically thought, like, you know what, he's over me now, so I'm done fake dating Mark. And I'm just like, no, he is not over you. You guys are constantly like saying like, oh, I'm over you, like, let's not date, let's just be parasite. 2 seconds later, they're making out in an obvious spot where somebody can just casually walk in and be like, just see them there. Like, they keep making out on the front porch, and I'm just like, why are you making out on the front porch? And every time they make out on the front porch, Gwen shows up for some reason. But that's not the point. The point is that how can she believe that he was over her? Speaking of that, they burned down a church. I don't like the fact that they burned down a church. For some reason, that really bothered me. Maybe it's because I'm religious, but I don't know. I was just like, why are you burning down the church? Anyways, how do you burn stone? That's scary because their parapetite skills or whatever, the fact that they can burn stone means that they are getting way too much power from being in love, and it's scary. But sometimes, sometimes they're really cute together. Because, like, I remember they were sitting on the roof and they were talking about, like, the different family mottos, which the Black Sign motto, I'm surprised that's, like, even a motto. Like, a bad law is no law. There's confetti in my book. So, yeah. I'm surprised that there's actually confetti stuck in my book. Oh, okay. Goodbye, confetti. So I'm actually surprised that that's actually a motto because, like, a bad law is no law when the main Shadowhunter motto is the law is hard, but it's the law. It's like they are like a rebellious family. Like, they don't follow any rules, and you know what? It's justified because of their motto. But like when they were talking about the different mottos, it was so hilarious. They're like Morgenstern, when in doubt, start a war. I need to make a point. So let's talk about the 7 Manon, like the children of, I'm looking at notes right now. The 7 Manon or something. Emma killed one of them, which is, at first I was like, yo, Emma killed this person named Fowl. And apparently she mistaken them for the hunt or whatever, and they're like, no, we are way older than the hunt and we are more powerful and blah blah blah. And apparently they've been like there since like the beginning of time. Like their little group of 7 people is older than the Nephilim, and they've been just only these same 7 people for like those thousands of years. So the fact that she killed one of them is crazy. That's why I was like so surprised, because Cortana is like this crazy, like, I'm surprised that like anyone's allowed to have Cortana, because it seems to have like this crazy amount of power. So the fact that she killed one of them is crazy, and now they have to change their name, which to the 6 children of Manon, which is pretty messed up, and yeah, whatever. Let's talk about Drusilla. So Drusilla, I feel so bad for her. Drew, my child, I feel so bad for her, and because we never really get to know Drew, first of all. But you know, when Jamie comes, or however you say his name, which I don't trust him either, but he comes in and you know he has his whole little friendship with Drusilla, and the only reason I like forgive him because he's kind of like, I don't trust him or Diego, but the only reason I kind of forgive him for being him because like he finally somebody was paying attention to Drusilla. I just feel so awful for her because, you know, they're the twins. They have their own little clique, and, you know, Tavi's Tavi. She can't really be best friends with Tavi because Tavi's really attached to Julian, and he's still small B. And, you know, Julian has this whole thing, and then Helen is over there being married somewhere away on an island, which, by the way, I was so excited when Helen showed up. But And then Mark, has this whole weird fairy treat threesome thing. So she's kind of just like alone there, and I just feel so awful for her. And then their stupid grandma, no, not their grandma, their great aunt, whoever they went to visit in the beginning of the book, calling her fat. Like, she's a 13-year-old girl, and none of her siblings are paying attention to her, even though she has a lot of siblings. And like, she's basically like their little maid or whatever. Like, the twins boss her around, and then she has to babysit Tabby and blah 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 blah. I just feel so bad for her. She needs somebody. She needs somebody. And being like her age, which I am 13 as well, is like, I really feel for Drew. Which is why I'm happy that she fell through that weird portal thing, because now she has her own little, now she's, what was I, okay, what I'm trying to say is, I was actually happy that she was the one who fell down the portal thing, because finally she got to be involved in all this drama, because a lot of things are happening to everyone, and nothing happened to her. So now she gets to be involved in the drama and the craziness. Good for her. Finally, she gets to be involved. But she falls down this tiny little portal. And I'm just like, what is this thing? Like, Jamie just has like casual little portals to Faye in his backpack? Like, what is this dude up to? And she sees this child, like a 13-year-old, with white hair. And my first thought is, I hope that Christine's whole evil spawn theory, like evil spawn of the Sealy Queen and Sebastian, I hope that is not true, and I hope this is not the child, because I've been refusing to believe in that theory for so long, and every time I hear about that theory, I'm just like, la 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 la, they do not have an evil spawn, there is no evil spawn, who is this child that Drew meets? And I was so afraid that Drew was gonna get stuck there, but she didn't. I'm so glad. I wonder, has she even told anybody? I don't know. But that is like a whole nother story. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. I think basically the moral of the story here, like with this whole book review, I don't really think it's a book review. I think it's me ranting. But I feel like the moral of the story is all the evil things that are being done is because somebody's in love with somebody. And then the second one is, what the heck? I'm so afraid of what's gonna happen in the next Shadowhunter books. So basically, I think I've said everything that needs to be said. I loved this book. I loved it so much. I think it's the greatest Cassandra Clare work ever. Just the way it was written and the way she makes references to Clockwork, to the Infernal Devices was hilarious, by the way, and I was so excited to see Jessamine as a ghost and stuff. And actually, when they mentioned going to, there's confetti on my toe. When they mentioned going to the London Institute, I was like, are we going to see Jessamine? Like, that was my first thought. So I was excited to be in the London Institute. I love the London Institute. I love it so much. And the fact that they saw books with Will H on it, oh my gosh, I miss Will. I miss Will so much. I'm so excited to see him in the Last Hours books that are going to be coming out soon. So, yep, I think that's all. Thank you for watching this review. It was long, I know. I'm going to link down in the doobly-doo this book if you want to buy it. Yeah. And I will also link down in doobly-doo all the bloopers. There's going to be a lot of bloopers for this video, guys. It's going to be hilarious. Yep. So, thank you for watching my video. Thank you for using your time. Thank you for watching my video. I will see you guys later with another video. Hopefully not a book review, because those take a long time and I end up ranting and I want to cry afterwards and binge watch Grey's Anatomy. But thank you for watching my video. I'm going to put this book down. Read more, because reading is fun. Play with confetti. Enjoy life. I'll see you guys later on another video. And I'm gone. Goodbye.